I will just go over this things to understand in a better way, a little more deep. A program component refers to projects and other programs within a program. Project management focuses on interdependencies within a project to determine the optimal approach for managing the project. Program management focuses on interdependence between project and between projects and the program level to determine the optimal approach for managing them. Actions related to these program and project level interfaces may include, I already explained this in the previous slides, okay? Aligning with organizational or strategic direction that affect program and project goals and objectives. It's an alignment, basically, vertical alignment. Allocating the program scope into program components. That is what we do. Program components could be a sub-program or it could be a project. So allocating the program scope. Who will do what? That's a very important decision. Managing interdependencies among the components of the program to best serve the program. Yes, that's the most important thing. We discussed this. Managing program risk that may impact multiple projects in the program. Risk mitigation is very important. Very simple example. You have a program for a township, correct? But the environmental clearance for making the township is still pending. And the project started, the subcomponent of program started. And suddenly one day, fine morning, you don't get an approval of environmental authority to construct the township over there. So it is impacting the whole township. It is impacting all the projects initiated, subcomponents of programs initiated. So we have to make sure that the risks are mitigated in advance, or you should have a sufficient mitigation plan and programs in place and action to ensure uninterrupted continuation of projects and programs. Resolving constraints and conflict that affect multiple projects within the program. Yes, we know that. If there are multiple projects are going on together, there will be a conflict. There will be a constraints. A lot of huge tons and tons of data will be moving from one project to another projects. There will be conflict of data, conflict of information, conflict of timelines. And those issues need to be resolved. Change requests need to be managed. Allocation of budget. One project is asking a budget, another project is also asking budget, but your cash flow is restricted. You cannot meet demand of both today. So that is allocating the budget is always a challenge. And the most important thing is that realizing in spite of all these things, realizing the benefit from the program component is very important. Example of program, another example of a program is a new communication satellite system with projects for the design and construction of satellite and the ground station, the launch of satellite, another thing, and integration of the system. So it could have multiple components which are addressed through multiple projects. Portfolio management. The aim of portfolio management is to guide organizational investment decision. Yes. Select the optimal mix of program and projects to meet strategic objectives. How many projects you need, how many programs you need, how much operations you will continue, how much import you will substitute. Provide decision-making transparencies. That is very important. Prioritize team and physical resource allocation. Peak load will be something, a great number, but how you optimize it, how you level it, so that you don't waste or you don't have the idling of resources. Increase the likelihood of realizing the desired return on investment. Yes. Centralize the management of aggregate risk profile of all components. That is also very important. Portfolio management also confirms that the portfolio is consistent with and aligned with organizational strategies. Maximizing the value of the portfolio requires careful examination of the components that comprise the portfolio. Components are prioritized so that those contributing the most to the organization's strategic objectives have the required financial, team, and physical resources. Definition of prioritization. You have the investors, you got the money from the investors, or you got a loan from the bank, and your money is idling because you did not have a prioritization. You do not have a prioritization plan. And at the same time, money is lying sometimes surplus additionally for a considerable period. Sometimes you are starving for the money, resources, financial issues. I'll read this for you. For example, an infrastructure organization for portfolio management, an infrastructure organization that has the strategic objective of maximizing the return on its investment may put together a portfolio that includes a mix of projects in oil and gas, power, water, roads, rail, and airport. From this mix, the organization may choose to manage related projects as one portfolio. All of the power projects may be grouped together as a one power portfolio. This is very interesting to understand. The big giant in the world, they are diversifying. If they were started their business from one field, which could be IT or public transport, so they diversified into different business strategies, business models. They went to power, they went to water, they went to oil and gas. So now, under their portfolio, there are many sub-portfolios, or it could be group of portfolios, power portfolio, oil and gas portfolio, maybe steel also. And they're managing this portfolio. Why? Because of medical, health. Okay, take one portfolio more. The concept which I'm trying to make here is that, in addition to what is there on the slide, that the most important thing is that you are diversifying your portfolio components, because if the recession comes in one, the boom may come in another one. And there will be some businesses which will be evergreen. FMCG, correct? So they will be keep growing with their speed. But if the steel has a recession, another sector may have a up. So you are able to manage a considerable good value out of your investment in the business model. So this is how the portfolio management is done with the help of a market mix. We'll understand operations management. Operation management is an area that is outside the scope of formal project management. Let's understand it very clearly. Operation management is concerned with the ongoing production of goods or services. It ensures that business operations continue efficiently by using the optimal resource needed to meet customer demand. It is concerned with managing processes that transform inputs into outputs. I need not to elaborate more about it. This is a very simple. Operation management is running the existing operations, converting input into the output, product and services. Operation versus project management. Okay, just I'll read it. It's very simple, but to make you understand, because we have discussed operation management in our portfolio management slide, that's why we have to get into more into it. Changes in business operations may be the focus of a project, especially when there are substantial changes to the business operations as a result of a new product or services deliveries. Ongoing operations are outside the scope of a project. However, there are intersecting points where the two areas crosses. Projects are intersect with operation at the various points during the product life cycle, such as, see, operation is going on, but the project management has no day-to-day interaction with operation management. But operation management and the project management, they come in contact in some of the scenarios. When you are developing a new product, correct? You are expanding, you are upgrading, you need a development process. This is a redevelopment process, modification process, expansion process, correct? In your existing operations, existing business model. So for that, you need to add some plants and machineries. You may have to add some new plants, or you have to add the new technology in the brownfield concept to your existing operations. So then the project comes in contact with operation. Improvisation process. And at the same time, at the end of product life cycle, after 20-25 years, when you are closing out the phase of operations, project management comes into the picture as a project closeout. And the most important thing is, whatever the knowledge are collected during all these projects, correct? So at each point, deliverables and knowledge are transferred between the project and operations for implementation of delivered works. There is a free flow of information, free flow of knowledge between the operations and projects. Then only projects will be able to meet the expectation of operations. This implementation occurs through a transfer of project resources or knowledge to operations, or through a transfer of operational resources to the projects. That's very simple.